Focusing on purpose rather than goals is a fundamental shift in mindset that can transform how you approach every aspect of life. Goals are outcome-oriented. They are the things you want to achieve. They are measurable, tangible, and often tied to a specific timeline. While goals are important, they alone do not create lasting motivation or fulfillment. Purpose, on the other hand, is deeper. It is the underlying reason you do what you do, the why behind your actions. When purpose drives your decisions, you are no longer just chasing a number, a title, or a specific achievement. You are creating meaning in every step along the way. When you operate purely on goals, the focus is external. You measure success by checking off milestones or comparing yourself to others. This can lead to short-term bursts of motivation, but it is fragile. When setbacks occur, and they inevitably will, the motivation tied solely to goals can crumble. Purpose-centered thinking shifts the focus internally. It provides a constant, intrinsic source of drive that does not depend on circumstances. Even when progress seems slow, purpose gives you a reason to persist. It is the difference between doing something because you have to, and doing it because you want to, because it aligns with something much bigger than the immediate outcome. Purpose also shapes the way you approach challenges. When goals are the only focus, obstacles can feel like threats. Missing a target can trigger frustration, self-doubt, or even giving up entirely. But when your actions are guided by purpose, challenges become opportunities to reinforce your commitment to your why. You begin to see problems not as roadblocks, but as chances to practice resilience, creativity, and patience. Purpose acts as a compass that keeps you aligned with your deeper intentions, even when external circumstances are unpredictable. Another critical aspect is that purpose creates alignment across all areas of life. Goals are often isolated. They exist within a work context, a personal project, or a fitness plan. Purpose is holistic. It integrates your work, relationships, health, and personal growth into a unified direction. When you understand your purpose, decisions that once felt difficult or overwhelming become clear. You can prioritize tasks, relationships, and opportunities that resonate with your deeper intentions and let go of things that don't. This reduces stress, improves focus, and creates a sense of cohesion and clarity in your daily life. Purpose is also contagious. When you act from a place of meaning, others notice. Purpose-driven people naturally inspire trust and loyalty. This is because authenticity is palpable. When your actions are guided by why you do them, it is reflected in your energy, your communication, and your interactions. In contrast, a purely goal-driven mindset can sometimes come across as transactional or disconnected because the why behind the action is missing. By focusing on purpose, you not only elevate your own life but influence the lives of those around you. The process of discovering your purpose begins with self-reflection. Ask yourself questions like, why do I do what I do? What impact do I want to have on others or on the world? What values am I unwilling to compromise? These are not questions with immediate, easy answers. They require patience, honesty, and introspection. Yet, investing in uncovering your purpose is transformative. Once identified, it becomes a lens through which you view every decision, every challenge, and every opportunity. Your goals become tools, not destinations. They serve the larger purpose rather than define it. Focusing on purpose changes the definition of success. Success is no longer just achieving a goal, earning recognition, or hitting a metric. It becomes living in alignment with your values, making an impact in areas that matter to you, and growing as a person along the way. This mindset allows you to celebrate progress, not just results, and fosters long-term fulfillment. In essence, purpose-driven living is sustainable because it is rooted in meaning rather than external validation. Adopting a growth mindset is one of the most powerful shifts you can make in the way you approach life, work, and learning. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities, intelligence, and skills are not fixed traits, but can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. This perspective contrasts with a fixed mindset, which assumes that talent and intelligence are static and that failure reflects a lack of ability. When you embrace a growth mindset, challenges, mistakes, and setbacks are no longer threats to your self-worth. They become essential elements of the learning process. This mindset transforms not only your outcomes, but also the way you experience effort, success, and personal growth. One of the key aspects of a growth mindset is the way it reframes failure. In a fixed mindset, failure is often interpreted as evidence that you are not good enough or that your abilities are limited. This can lead to fear of failure, avoidance of challenges, and reluctance to take risks. In contrast, a growth mindset views failure as feedback, valuable information about what works, what doesn't, and where you can improve. Each mistake is an opportunity to adjust, learn, and grow stronger. This shift in perception removes the fear of failure and replaces it with curiosity and experimentation. You begin to see obstacles as stepping stones rather than barriers, and effort becomes a path to mastery rather than a sign of inadequacy. A growth mindset also fosters resilience. Life inevitably presents difficulties, whether in the form of professional setbacks, personal disappointments, or unexpected challenges. When you adopt a growth mindset, these difficulties are no longer discouraging endpoints. They are opportunities to develop problem-solving skills, deepen your understanding, and strengthen your perseverance. Resilience is not just about enduring hardships. It is about actively learning from them, using them to refine your strategies, and emerging more capable than before. This perspective enables you to maintain motivation even when progress is slow or outcomes are uncertain. The power of a growth mindset extends to learning and skill development. People with a growth mindset embrace challenges that push them beyond their comfort zones. They understand that true growth requires effort, practice, and the willingness to tackle what initially feels difficult or unfamiliar. This mindset encourages continuous learning and curiosity, leading to greater adaptability and competence over time. Rather than being discouraged by tasks that seem beyond their current ability, they view these opportunities as essential steps toward improvement. Skills are not innate limitations. They are cultivated through deliberate practice, reflection, and iteration. A growth mindset also transforms the way you approach feedback. In a fixed mindset, criticism is often seen as a personal attack, something to resist or ignore. This can stunt development and create defensive behavior. A growth mindset, however, sees feedback as a gift. Constructive criticism becomes a tool for self-improvement, allowing you to identify blind spots, refine your techniques, and enhance your performance. You learn to actively seek feedback, reflect on it without judgment, and integrate it into your ongoing development. This openness to learning creates a cycle of continuous improvement that compounds over time. Another important aspect is that a growth mindset encourages effort and perseverance over innate talent. Many people underestimate the role of effort, believing that talent alone determines success. A growth mindset emphasizes that consistent effort, deliberate practice, and persistence are the true drivers of achievement. Talent may provide an initial advantage, but sustained effort determines long-term results. By valuing effort and persistence, you cultivate discipline, patience, and the ability to stay committed even when progress is not immediate. A growth mindset also influences your interactions with others. It allows you to collaborate more effectively, celebrate the successes of others, and view their achievements as sources of inspiration rather than competition. You recognize that growth is a shared journey, and learning from peers can accelerate your own development. This mindset fosters humility, empathy, and a culture of mutual encouragement, both in professional and personal contexts. Adopting a growth mindset changes the way you define success. Success is no longer measured solely by external achievements or comparisons with others. It is measured by the progress you make, the knowledge you gain, the skills you develop, and the resilience you build along the way. Growth becomes the reward in itself, making the process as meaningful as the outcome. By embracing this mindset, you position yourself for long-term development, adaptability, and fulfillment, creating a life where challenges are embraced, learning is continuous, and potential is limitless. Daily habits and micro decisions are the building blocks of long-term success, growth, and fulfillment. While big, ambitious goals often capture our attention, it is the small, consistent choices we make each day that ultimately determine the trajectory of our lives. Micro decisions are those seemingly insignificant choices that, when repeated consistently, compound into meaningful results. They may seem trivial in the moment, deciding to read for 20 minutes, choosing water over soda, or responding to a challenge with patience rather than frustration, but over time, their cumulative effect is enormous. By prioritizing habits and micro decisions that align with your values and goals, you create a life that reflects intentionality rather than chance. One of the key principles is that habits shape identity. Every action we take is a vote for the type of person we believe we are or want to become. If you consistently make choices that align with health, learning, or integrity, you reinforce the belief that you are a healthy, knowledgeable, and principled individual. Conversely, neglecting these small choices erodes self-perception and can make long-term goals feel unattainable. The power of micro-decisions lies in their subtle ability to shape character. By focusing on the process rather than the outcome, you cultivate a mindset of consistency, accountability, and self-discipline. Habits also simplify decision-making. Our brains are wired to conserve energy, and constantly deliberating over every choice can lead to decision fatigue. By intentionally creating positive habits, you automate beneficial behaviors so they require less cognitive effort. For example, establishing a morning routine that includes exercise, planning, and reflection removes the daily struggle of deciding what to do first. Micro decisions compound in this way. Choosing one positive action repeatedly strengthens your capacity to make future decisions aligned with your long-term goals. Habits create momentum, reducing friction and making success easier and more natural over time. Another critical aspect is the concept of compounding. Small, consistent actions build on one another exponentially. Saving a small amount of money daily, practicing a skill for 10 minutes a day, or consistently prioritizing healthy meals may seem negligible at first, but the effects multiply over weeks, months, and years. The compounding effect works both positively and negatively. Neglecting small decisions, procrastinating, or consistently making choices misaligned with your values can compound into setbacks and regrets. Recognizing the long-term power of micro-decisions encourages mindfulness, intentionality, and a focus on small, actionable steps rather than overwhelming yourself with distant, abstract goals. Habits also provide structure and predictability, which reduces stress and increases efficiency. When you have routines that reflect your priorities, you reduce uncertainty and create a framework that supports growth. For example, setting aside time for reflection or journaling each day can enhance clarity, decision-making, and emotional regulation. Choosing to engage in learning or skill development daily ensures steady progress without the need for bursts of extraordinary effort. By focusing on daily habits, you transform long-term ambitions into achievable, consistent actions. Micro-decisions influence not just personal performance, but relationships and social impact. Small choices in communication, empathy, and attentiveness shape how others perceive and respond to you. Acts as simple as listening fully in a conversation, expressing gratitude, or following through on promises consistently build trust and strengthen connections. These small, intentional actions ripple outward, reinforcing your influence and creating environments that support shared growth and collaboration. The psychology behind habit formation also highlights the importance of consistency and context. Our environment heavily influences behavior, often more than motivation alone. Designing spaces and routines that support desired behaviors increases the likelihood of maintaining habits. For instance, placing a water bottle on your desk encourages hydration, while keeping a book within reach promotes daily reading. By controlling triggers and cues, decisions become almost automatic, and habits are reinforced naturally. Prioritizing daily habits and decisions teaches patience, self-control, and long-term thinking. It shifts the focus from instant gratification to sustainable progress, encouraging reflection on the impact of each choice. Success becomes a natural byproduct of alignment between daily actions and long-term vision. By valuing small steps and repeated effort, you cultivate resilience, consistency, and mastery, ultimately creating a life where success is not a distant goal, but the inevitable result of intentional living. Leading with curiosity and empathy is a transformative mindset that reshapes how you interact with the world, solve problems, and influence others. Curiosity is the drive to explore, question, and seek understanding beyond what is immediately visible. Empathy is the ability to understand and feel what others are experiencing, to see the world from their perspective without judgment. When combined, curiosity and empathy create a powerful approach to personal growth, leadership, and decision-making. They encourage openness, adaptability, and deeper connection, which are essential in both personal and professional contexts. Curiosity drives learning and innovation. When you approach situations with genuine curiosity, you ask questions rather than making assumptions. You seek to understand the reasons behind behavior, the root of challenges, and the broader context of decisions. Curiosity transforms obstacles into opportunities for exploration rather than sources of frustration. Instead of immediately labeling something as right or wrong, you investigate possibilities, experiment with approaches, and remain open to discovering new solutions. This mindset encourages a growth-oriented approach because it treats knowledge and understanding as evolving processes rather than fixed destinations. Empathy enhances collaboration and communication. When you understand the emotions, motivations, and perspectives of others, interactions become more meaningful and productive. Empathy is not simply about feeling sorry for someone. It is about recognizing their experience, validating their perspective, and responding in a way that fosters trust and cooperation. This skill is particularly important in leadership because people naturally follow those who understand and value them. By practicing empathy, you build stronger relationships, resolve conflicts more effectively, and create environments where collaboration and innovation can flourish. Curiosity and empathy together foster adaptability. In a rapidly changing world, rigid thinking and judgment limit growth. Curiosity allows you to explore unfamiliar ideas, challenge assumptions, and embrace uncertainty. Empathy ensures that you consider the human element in every decision, understanding how change impacts others and how to navigate it collaboratively. Leaders and individuals who cultivate both traits are able to respond to challenges with flexibility, insight, and foresight, turning complex problems into manageable opportunities. Practicing curiosity begins with asking questions that go beyond the surface. Questions like, why does this happen? What are the underlying motivations? And how could this situation be approached differently? Open doors to new understanding. It requires humility to accept that you do not have all the answers and courage to explore unknown territory. Curiosity thrives when you embrace ambiguity and uncertainty, seeing them not as threats but as opportunities to learn and grow. Empathy requires active listening and emotional awareness. It involves paying full attention to others, noticing non-verbal cues, and withholding judgment while striving to understand their perspective. Empathy strengthens relationships by demonstrating respect and consideration, which encourages openness and honesty. It also deepens self-awareness, as understanding others helps you recognize your own biases, assumptions, and emotional responses. By integrating empathy into decision making, you create solutions that are both effective and human-centered. Curiosity and empathy also enhance problem-solving and creativity. Curiosity prompts exploration of multiple approaches, encouraging divergent thinking and innovation. Empathy ensures that solutions address real human needs rather than just theoretical problems. Together, they produce ideas that are practical, sustainable, and widely supported. By leading with curiosity and empathy, you avoid narrow thinking, foster inclusion, and create outcomes that are thoughtful, relevant, and impactful. These traits also have a compounding effect on influence and leadership. People are naturally drawn to those who are genuinely curious and empathetic because they feel understood and valued. This creates loyalty, trust, and cooperation, which are essential for achieving shared goals. Empathy combined with curiosity encourages mentorship, guidance, and effective communication, empowering others to contribute and grow. Leadership is no longer about authority alone. It becomes about inspiration, connection, and shared purpose. Cultivating curiosity and empathy requires intentional practice. It is developed through daily reflection, open-minded exploration, and conscious engagement with others' perspectives. Small, consistent effort, such as asking thoughtful questions, listening deeply, and suspending immediate judgmentry, enforce these traits over time. The result is a mindset that is both outward, looking and growth-oriented, capable of navigating complexity with wisdom, understanding, and creativity. Leading with curiosity and empathy transforms the way you define success. Success is measured not only by personal achievement, but by the quality of your relationships, the positive impact you have on others, and your ability to learn and adapt continuously. It is a mindset that values understanding as much as action, connection as much as results, and insight as much as accomplishment. By cultivating curiosity and empathy, you position yourself to navigate life and leadership with wisdom, purpose, and lasting influence.